Oh, it's terrible. I found I hate my voice incredibly.
Oh, I hate my voice too. I mean, obviously, it's probably other people don't care. I mean, think about okay, this is one thing I thought about. Like, I've been thinking about. You think something. You think. I'm trying to how to word this. I'll just start with like, you think your own voice is weird because it's your own voice. You know it's your voice, and you know,
well,
it's just,
yeah.
it's
First
weird
off,
to you
we're all
because
really self-conscious about.
yeah, you're always
every
gonna be self-conscious about everything that you do.
Ah!
But you have to realize, like, no one else is, because that's not them. It's just somebody else. And
Right.
they're probably like, oh, you know, that's interesting. That's not my voice. That's somebody else's voice.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you're. To be honest, you don't know if your voice sounds weird or not.
There are those
Unless
people
somebody
who have those
tells you.
voices that you hear.
That's true. There are those
weird
people who
voice.
have like really annoying voices, but
Yeah.
otherwise, you know, you don't really know.
That's true.
Unless it's also somebody you know, because then you might be like, oh, it's weird to hear that person I know talk.
Well,
No,
yeah.
No, go ahead. What?
So another thing I think could play into effect is that when you hear your own voice, what is that? The Doppler effect, where when sound waves leave something, you hear
Yeah.
them differently than
Well,
when they're approaching.
it's that there's that one thing people did for a while. I remember this like a couple years ago. There was like an app where you put on headphones, you'd hear yourself talk, or you'd talk, but then it'd be delayed. So then you would like hear yourself again,
Oh, I've done that.
and
That was
people, it's
terrible.
hilarious. Like
It screws.
you
with
try
your
to
mind.
people like tell them to say a sentence, and they're like, you know, if it's like Mary had a little lamb, they're like Mary had
they can't get through it at all.
lit, you know, it's just like,
It actually sounds exactly like.
oh yeah, it's absolutely. I'm not lying
It's
at all.
terrible.
Another thing I was gonna say about that kind of like idea, like people say, this kind of makes me mad too, because it's like, so you know, if people always say like, oh, I couldn't even imagine something like that happening, or this, you know, this being something else. You know?
Ah!
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Like, say, I don't know, like if you had, how do I say this?
I don't know. What are you trying to say?
Like, say if you were like so okay, I had this thought. We were either gonna move when I came from Las Vegas. We were gonna either move to Salem, Oregon, or Nampa.
Good thing you chose Nampa, by the way.
I actually, I've never been to Salem. Have I been to Salem? I'm not sure. Anyway, so the point is, I used to think, oh, that's really weird. Like, that would be really weird if, you know, I moved to Salem, or like, you know, it's only weird because it hasn't
the
happened.
effect that didn't happen.
Yeah, you think
if
it's
it-
weird because it didn't happen,
Right.
but you would think the same exact thing if I lived in Salem. So if I actually lived in Salem,
It's true. You'd
I'd be
probably
like,
be
oh, we
what
almost
the
moved to
heck
Nampa. It's like, Nampa, that'd be really weird. Or like, you know,
Right.
I couldn't even imagine living in Nampa.
Exactly.
It's just like, people say this. You can't say about say that kind of stuff. Because that's just how it's always been.
Sure.
You know? It's
can
like,
see that.
yeah, it's just like, if something else went a different way, that's all you've ever known, so it's not weird.
Right.
So people can stop crying about something you think is weird. And
This whole conversation derived from our voices.
that's true. But I'm just saying, like, you think, because it's like people cry about, like, oh, my voice sounds terrible. I hate the sound of my own voice. And it's like, well, you hate it, but other people probably don't hate it. I'm just guessing. Like, people are just like, oh, it's another voice. It's just another person.
I want to look at the comments and be like, Ben's voice is so stupid.
You should say that to yourself. Just comment that.
This is so aggravating.
I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah. No, we were. I was talking with
Oh, that was good. Concentrate if you need to.
Ah!
Do not get past that one, dude. I'm
my
so
mind
sorry.
is in two different places. The butterfly effect is an interesting thing.
Now, what is that? I looked that up. I couldn't remember what it was, though. What is the butterfly effect?
So the butterfly effect is the idea that one little something.
Oh, it's... okay. No, okay. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm...
One something, like the fact that I don't even know. Your parents at a very young age decided that they like something over another, and that influenced their decision on where
Yeah.
you went to school, which affected.
Yeah, so it's one
Us
thing
becoming
that has like a
friends.
ripple effect, kind of like it, which is interesting because I was listening to, I don't know where I heard this, but someone was talking about that the butterfly effect really isn't as influential as you think, because so if you say something like, people said, oh, like a really popular one is like, oh, if I could only go back in time and kill Hitler, like
Sure.
baby Hitler, which is kind of terrible to think about. Killing
Yeah.
a baby.
You'd say there
But
were
the thing is, that's not the only that's not the only factor. There's a lot of factors that went into creating
the fall of
the
Germany.
fall in like the tyranny of Germany.
Sure.
It was at a point where like it was almost going to happen that Germany would have a leader like that.
Okay.
So it could have happened even if you did kill Hitler. It was just at that point of time.
So it wasn't Hitler that was solely responsible for
Yeah, so I mean, it was a bunch of
Okay.
things. Like, so it's like, even if you had killed Hitler, say if you had killed Hitler, I'm saying Hitler way too much in this video, and I'm hating it, then it almost doesn't, it might not matter, because there might be someone else. It was just that point in time where a lot of things went right to bring someone into power like that. And if you
Sure.
had killed that person, to be honest, there might have just been someone just like him coming in and doing the same thing.
Sure.
So that's the way people don't think about that. And obviously there are reasons. There might be some times where the butterfly effect. Sorry, actually does. It might actually be true. Like one little
Right.
thing might. So.
Well, it also I think depends on like how you look at the universe in general. Like,
Yeah.
is our destination and our path written and there is no alternate, or is time not linear and therefore can be changed? There's a lot of things that would.
I've heard a lot of things like. I feel like we're getting really deep into this.
Welcome to the Creamcast, everybody.
Yeah, welcome. Stuff like time. It's like, if you can say like, oh, if we invented a time machine, well, technically it's already been invented. If it's possible.
Right. So you're saying
A time machine has already been invented just because,
Because you're saying that I'm going to stop for a second here before I screw myself
Okay.
up. Okay, so you're saying that what's going to happen is happen.
Yes.
Is gonna okay. What's going to happen is going to happen, and there's nothing you can do to change that. And so, because if there will be a time machine that is going to be invented from this point in time, it has already been invented because there is no changing it.
Exactly.
It's interesting.
It was kind of funny. There was that story about Stephen Hawking. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. There's a story about Stephen Hawking that he had a party for time travelers. And so he had the party and then sent out the invitations the day after.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Because so many people showed up.
0.
Yeah. He
Well,
said a
one.
very lonely party.
1.
I can just imagine he's got balloons all around him sitting in his chair. Just like, well, that's really disappointing. Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh, it's so difficult.
I mean, smart of him to think about that. Think of doing that. I'm sure it would have been a fun party, but
Well, okay, but like, if time travel is going to be invented, first off, based on his own theory,
yeah.
time travel can only go forward. Is my
Yeah,
understanding.
it's like what time is a river? You can
Yep.
increase the flow of one direction, but you can't go against the flow.
right.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's too much for my mind. Let's be honest.
It's, I sort of just
Like,
live like, okay.
oh, dude. All right, do you want me to just kind of like leave you?
Okay, I gotta figure this out. Oh my
That was really unfortunate.
What are we at for the time? I want to get past this level. Oh, we can go another half hour.
You can go. Yeah, go as long as you need to.
Okay.
Go until you get mad. Or I mean, you're all mad, but
I almost broke my controller in half one time playing this game.
dude, I almost broke my hand playing a game.
How'd you do that?
This is my own. Well, I was playing. I think it was Halo Reach. To be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what I was playing. I think it was just multiplayer. I got so mad. I punched the ground. I don't know why. I was sitting on the couch, and I just punched the ground as hard as I could, and I think I didn't fracture it. I think I jammed 2 of my fingers though.
It hurt pretty bad?
Oh, it hurt for like 2 weeks.
Did you have to get a splint or anything?
No, I just had jammed couple fingers. And
How'd you like telling that story to a girl? Yeah, baby, you like this? She's like, what'd you have? What?
I don't think there were any girls at that time I was telling anything to. I mean, it's like you could tell. It hurt.
Yeah. Like,
oh, I remember.
Bro, well, I imagine the conversation would go something along the lines of, "Hey, baby, you're talking to this girl. She notices your hand. She's like, "Oh, how'd you break that?" Get into like a really massive fight, and in your head, you're like, "Technically, yes."
How should I go about this? I don't want to lie, but I think the first time I jammed my finger, I've never broken anything.
Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna jinx myself.
Sean falls out of his chair right now and breaks his collarbone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I've never broken a bone, which is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the first time I've jammed a lot of fingers. I've jammed probably every single finger on my hand.
Okay.
But
it's terrible. Are you having like PTSD just talking about it right
absolutely.
now?
No, absolutely. But the first time it happened to me, I thought I broke my finger.
Mm-hmm.
It was awful. Like I was freaking out, but then somebody told me like, "Oh, dude, your fingers aren't broken." But the whole night I just sat looking at my finger, like it was swollen, like twice the size. And
yep. No, jamming a finger can really hurt.
Scared me so much because I've never broken anything before.
What?
I thought, did I break my finger?
What's the worst injury you've ever had? Jamming your finger?
Yeah. No. I don't know. Well, okay, injury or like. Because I went to the hospital for pneumonia when I was a kid, and I almost actually died from that.
No, I mean like a physical injury, not
physical
like
injury.
an illness.
I think I rolled my ankle one time, and I had to have a brace.
Okay. So is that just a sprain?
Yeah, I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't really think I've had anything super bad. But I think the worst thing that happened to me was when I went to the hospital for that.
Okay.
Because that actually almost killed me.
Pneumonia.
Yeah.
Come on!
I had really like late stage pneumonia.
Uh-huh.
And they said if they hadn't caught it, or if I hadn't been brought in and caught it, maybe even like I wouldn't say like super bad. Like if it was like another couple days, or not a couple days, maybe 5 days.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone into some kind of shock.
Jeez.
And I could have like suffocated or something.
It's the butterfly effect, dude. I'm telling you.
All right. But there's no way I don't think I would have gotten to that point because it was so bad. I literally was coughing like nonstop for hours at night. Oh no, dude, I was coughing up just massive amounts of like stuff.
Well, pneumonia is when you get fluid in your lungs.
Yeah, and so it got so bad, like, Mom was like, well, this kid's not getting any better, so
right,
let's take him to the hospital. So, but anyway, besides that, I mean, nothing really much. In terms of hurting myself, no.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure you probably have a lot of stories.
What does that mean?
Not a lot. I'm just saying, I know there are some stories you have.
Well,
mostly during basketball, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
there's Potato Foot Anderson, which I felt really bad about because I remember the day that it happened.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Oh."
Well,
really
first
hurt.
off, I should say what happened was, we were both on the basketball team in high school, and I just went in for a layup, and I landed on someone else's foot, and I rolled it, and what ended up happening was I tore 2 tendons, and I injured the third in my foot or something like that, and my foot looked, I don't even know how to describe it, like some amorphous blob that was like.
And so when that happened, we kind of like, we're like, "Oh, Ben, come on."
Yes!
Nice. Okay.